Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. This is Niger Delta Today, brought to you by ADBN TV. My name is Xavier Robert. Today we'll be looking at the very crucial issues that cut to the very fabric of society, talking about Delta State and the issue of preserving infrastructure, the role of citizens towards ensuring that these infrastructure are taken care of as much as possible. We'll be looking at Akwa Ibom State as well. And of course, the governor, Pastor Moino, will be presenting the 2026 budget to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. What are the expectations, especially as we look back to the performances of the 2024 budget and, of course, the 2025 budget? The citizens would be wanting to know what the governor got up his sleeves for the Akwa Ibom people. I'll be doing this myself and my co-host Jennifer Pius. Jennifer, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. How do you feel about this week?
Well, I mean, the week started on a good footing, and we're still hopeful and positive. And of course, you know what the week means.
Exactly. It's the last week of the month, and after that, we're getting to December. Wait, do you plan on having a dirty December? Because
well, Jennifer, talking about dirty December, on a very positive note, I'm hoping to have a really swell Christmas as much as possible.
As much as possible.
I may not target dirty, but I'm sure that is going to be worth my while.
Oh, I hope you've had credible intelligence on your activities for December.
Well, credible intelligence. Let's just hope that all of the permutations that I have running around my head right now would come to be. Because if it does, that would mean that the hope of a very swell Christmas and, in fact, dirty would also be accomplished as much as possible.
Indeed, and I can already see your touch of red preparing for Christmas. And I'm seeing people already buying all the Christmas clothes and waiting.
I think the people that are most excited about Christmas, just like every other festivities, are the women.
Indeed, and let's just see how things turn out, especially with the Christmas Unplug already waiting by. And,
a lot of celebrations are already lined up for Akwa Ibom people. And you talk about Aqua Cross. I mean, it's as if Christmas is always something to look forward to. Talking about Akwa Ibom and Cross River State.
In fact, the Niger Delta, specifically, the Niger Delta always has activities for...
Colorful as much as possible.
So
different types of cultural displays that the citizens would have to look forward to.
But there's something that's happening in our story of interest, and it breaks my heart. I don't know how to say it, but it's something that's taking place in Delta State.
Yes.
And I can't just shut my eyes from talking about this particular incident. It's something that has been happening, but social media recently put it out. Sometimes the most surprising threats to public infrastructure turn out to be the choices we make inside our communities. In Okpanam Delta State, a newly upgraded road believed to be still fresh and still under warranty was reportedly punctured so a family could mount a canopy for a marriage celebration. A simple event, but with a cost of deeper than the hole in the asphalt. Professionals have assessed the situation and these reports and are in unison that one small bridge may look harmless, yet it can trigger the early death of a road designed to last nearly 2 decades. Well, on our story of interest today, we're unpacking the engineering, the legality, and the civic responsibility behind this incident that has stirred outrage online and raised questions about how citizens relate to public property. Well, so here's the background video, and this video stirred the controversy in Okpanam, Oshimili North Local Government area of Delta State, and it was posted by a TikTok user, Wongbox, Nigeria, and it shows a canopy set up in the middle of what residents claim is recently completed road project. Well, the footage also shows markings on the asphalt, which the poster alleges were punctured to insert canopy poles. Reacting to the development, the creator, who identified himself as a civil and structural engineer, warned that even small perforations can compromise the integrity of a road. The video also called on the Okpanam Youth President, Honorable Lucky Antonio Kolo, to investigate the incident and escalate it to security authorities if necessary. Well, I think it is really necessary. And already the community leaders have spoken to reporters expressing fear that the obstruction is bound to disrupt traffic, accelerate road damage, and undermine the value of government's recent investment in the upgrade of the road. Apparently, everything cannot be blamed on government, and we seem to be presented with one of such incidents. So we ask, how common is common sense? Is this act also as a result of lack of orientation and sensitization, or is it a simple situation of citizens being unwilling to take care of public infrastructure as if it were theirs? Well, I don't know how you feel about this, and it's something that I would never imagine I'll be talking about this on air, because by now we should have gone past this.
It's quite a sad incident, Jennifer Pius, and it also re-echoes that aspect of society where, I mean, it's easy and very, very convenient to quickly blame government for everything.
Very easy.
But this is an instance where citizens will have to take responsibility for what they do.
That event has absolutely nothing to do with government.
Well, joining us to shed more light on this is the activist who raised the alarm. He is lead activist of the Young Nigerian Rights Organization and also a civil engineer himself. Comrade Victor Ojay, One Box Nigeria, joins us virtually. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for joining us on Niger Delta Today.
Thank you.
Let's start by getting your perspective as an expert in that field on the particular incident of puncturing the road just to erect a canopy. What would that do to the road?
It will automatically lead to structural failure of the subgrade and the subgrade, because boring that hole through the surface has already created an ingress, a water ingress, has already created a path for water to find its way to the foundation, the subgrade of the road design and that was constructed, which will automatically lead to failure of the entire road over time.
All right, well, One Box Nigeria, I'd like you to bring us some insights and some background regarding how you got caught wind of this particular incident, and of course, bring us some context as regarding what really played out that day.
Okay, what actually played out was that on the 21st of November 2025, our attention was drawn that there's a family in that Okpanam in the North local government area that had a marriage-related activities for the next day, which is on the 22nd. So we had to approach the site. We even engaged with them that this was wrong for them to go home. This is damage of public infrastructure, of which we had to communicate with the governor. We communicated with the GSS and other stakeholders, including the youth president of the community, who was not happy with, nobody was happy. And the governor and the Delta government swung into action. They engaged with the police. They made some arrests. The police are currently investigating the persons who conspired to damage these, intentionally damage these public infrastructure. So that's the current status. The government frowned at it, the citizens frowned at it, the community frowned at it, everybody is not happy.
Well, beyond just frowning at it, this is not a case where we just frown and let that pass by, because if there is no information sent or there is no form of punishment done, this might become a recurrent decimal in some parts and maybe in other parts of the state. What other plans are you aware of that the community is engaging or the government is engaging to ensure that this doesn't repeat itself? Are you aware of any of such plans?
Of course, the government immediately, when we informed the state government, the government engaged with the police, the Commissioner for Environment, the Commissioner for Youth. They went to the scene of alleged public infrastructure destruction and made arrests of the persons, some of the persons that were involved in this destruction of public infrastructure. So they are presently at the police, state CID, under investigation, and definitely they are going to be prosecuted, so that it's going to serve as a deterrent to others, not just in Okpanam community, but in Delta State, and hopefully Nigeria at large.
All right, One Box Nigeria. I'd like to quickly understand. Now, the road in question is reported to be recently refurbished under the current Delta State government. Now, based on your assessment, what is the estimated financial or lifespan impact of this sort of interference on the road?
The fact remains that a standard road has a lifespan of 18 to 25 years. But because of these actions of these individuals from this Okpanam community, that road is going to fail as soon as rainy season starts. As soon as water finds its way through the subways and subgrades, it's going to fail. The road is going to fail because of what? There will be shear failure due to load that will pass through the coal track, because the asphalt will automatically fail. The lifespan of the asphalt will be reduced due to water impact that led to the foundation, the base, the surface.
All right, One Box.
Unless a direct labor will be performed there by a direct labor agency to make corrections to these potholes.
Okay, we understand it's not just on puncturing roads that might have some form of impact. There are other items, there are other activities which we do notice, and one of that is burning things on tarred roads. And sometimes we get to see residents bring out refuse, put them on the roads and burn them. Does this also have some negative impact on roads?
Of course. When there is fire on top of the surface of the road, it will lead to the failure of the asphalt, the coal track, which will automatically, over time, it will lead to water finding its way to the subbase. And finally, it will lead to the failure of the entire road. Not just that portion that there is a pothole, but the entire road failure.
Well, Comrade OJ, in your opinion now, does this act represent willful destruction, or it's simply a case of negligence or lack of proper awareness?
You know, we lack accountability in Nigeria. You know, our government also has failed on their part with respect to orientation. Our federal National Orientation Agency, our state bureau for orientation, they are not well funded to educate and enlighten citizens on their civic duty. So the government is not doing well on their own to educate our people. So with this act, we expect the state government, we expect the federal government from the National Orientation Agency to invest more in human capital development by way of educating and enlightening our people on their civic duty.
Indeed.
All right, One Box, I'd like to also get some understanding. You had also called on the DSS to wade into this issue. Why do you think it's that serious to take it to that point? I thought you would have wanted it to be resolved maybe at the local level, since it happened there in that community.
You know the DSS has a local government director in each local government in Nigeria. We have 774 directors of DSS in Nigeria because we have 774 local governments in Nigeria. So the director of the local government in the DSS is going to look into it, because the DSS not just have capacity for only security, they also have duty of care to protect public infrastructure. They also have duty of care for accountability, for holding citizens for corrupt practice.
Okay, if you were to pinpoint some of the areas that this shows about communities and their responsibility towards preservation of public facilities, what do you say this reveals about public attitudes toward shared infrastructure in the Niger Delta region?
Like I said, what happened in this community is all about negligence. It's all about the government failing on their duty to educate and enlighten humans, Nigerians, on human capital, on what's expected of citizens. Many citizens Many persons in Nigeria don't even know their rights. They don't even know why you violate their rights. Because of what? The government is not doing enough to educate and enlighten our people.
But
is investing in human capital.
Is this much of a government job, or this also has a lot to do with the people? Considering the nature of this incident, this happened in a community. There are people who live around those communities. There are people who stay around that particular environment. Isn't this not just a government activity, but of course involving community leaders, involving residents, just individuals in the region?
You know, in Nigeria, the primary aim of government is welfare and security. The government has that duty of care. But we all know that the system has failed. We have a system failure. It starts with the government, not just with the community. Because the community leaders, they work with the government, hand in hand. The community leaders, the government also has, but we should first of all start with the government, not the community leader. The government has that duty of care to fund the National Registration Agency adequately, to fund the State Bureau of Registration adequately. By so doing, community leaders will benefit, residents will benefit, individuals will benefit, everybody, even foreigners will benefit from the orientation from the government, federal and state government. It's a joint effort.
Okay.
All right, One Box Nigeria. Well, some residents argue that, they also blame this on weak and substandard projects, and that it's not really about this isolated case. But is that like diverting from the real issue on ground? What should be those punitive measures that must be taken immediately towards ensuring that events of this nature do not reoccur or rear up their ugly heads?
Look, this question that you said now, it has no correlation to this. What is that about quality control? No. Even if that road was designed by the Chinese or by the United States government, nobody has a duty or a right to pour hole into a quality road or a substandard road. What is bad is bad. Let us condemn the action first before we will not be determining if it was a quality road. But by default, we all know professionally, I'm speaking from the professional aspect as a civil structural engineer, that the lifespan of a road is 18 to 25 years.
Regardless of the quality of the road?
Yeah, no. Based on quality, you must meet up with the global standard, the global practice.
All right, well, One Box Nigeria, let's look beyond Okpanam community now and see how common these forms of negligence or unawareness of responsibility of citizens, how widespread is it, not just in the Niger Delta region now, but across the country?
Yes. Mostly at this period we are approaching, this festive period, there will be a lot of bonfire, watch nights, and you know our people, the youth, the children, they always burn tires on coal tires, on bad roads, which endangers the lifespan of the road. So with this is a wake-up call for the federal and the state government and local government, that they should start enlightening our people that there should be no bonfire on top of a coal tar or a tarred road because of it will affect the lifespan. Also, some citizens need to be arrested and possibly charged to court and sent to prison so that citizens will know that there is now accountability moving forward if you engage in destruction of public infrastructure such as a road, a tarred road.
All right, One Box Nigeria, just before we let you go, how have you assessed the response of the Delta State government to this isolated incident?
I'm impressed with the Delta State government because of how fast, in less than an hour, the Commissioner for Environment, the Commissioner for Youth, even the DSS, I'm impressed with the DSS, and even with the police, and even citizens that condemn the act, citizens from that community, they are not happy because this is a public infrastructure that is to be shared by everybody, and some persons, due to negligence, engage in destruction of this public infrastructure. So I'm impressed with everybody that was involved, every stakeholder.
Thank you very much, One Box Nigeria. for speaking to us, Comrade Victor Ojay, for bringing insights into this particular issue.
And thank you for bringing to limelight the issue there in Delta State. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate both of you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Jennifer, I understand we have some reactions to this incident, and we'll try to bring you some of them. This is from questions and answers. What are they?
It says here, the government needs to sue the person doing the function, and the person will pay for maintenance and do community service by cleaning the road for months. I think this is also commendable. Well, maybe that's why I call him questions and answer. Ololade says here, this is very wrong. I believe people saw them while they were digging, and that would have been the best time to stop them. People need to wake up and protect government infrastructure, because if it gets damaged, it's the citizens who will bear the consequences. Well, Alpha Bravo 1 says, to show how deep the problem lies, many are only talking about the drilling holes. I haven't seen anyone mention the fact that they decided to erect a canopy in the middle of the road for a party. That's one aspect,
twist.
And that's another, indeed. Abubakar Imam says Nigerians, irrespective of who leads them, will always display the same problematic behaviors we criticize in our leaders. In many ways, our leaders are simply a reflection of the society that produces them. Okay, Okafor Daniel Dan says this is witchcraft, pure witchcraft, and should be punished severely. Starts from the chain of command, which is intended couples down to the perpetrators of this evil. The couples know who they gave the job to. True, they do know.
So somebody's honeymoon will be caught short.
Yeah, exactly. And DZBSI, okay, seize the canopy and chairs. The rentals should forfeit all of their equipment, as I believe the canopy was set up by the rentals boys. Prosecute the party organizer. Different angles. Because I'm believing that this issue won't just end there. A lot has to be done to ensure it doesn't spread across into other communities, because we do see these people erect canopy, and also sometimes they may not drill holes into the roads, but we really have to curtail such behaviors, especially as we head towards the festive season. And we're hopeful that a lot will be done to put this to an end.
And I think it's really alien and barbaric to have people erecting canopies to obstruct the flow of traffic. It is really sad.
And tomorrow we'll be complaining of traffic. We'll be complaining of accidents. These are things that bring up such issues.
Oh, Jennifer Pius. We'll take a break there and then connect with our House of Assembly correspondent, David Isang, who is at the House of Assembly as the governor prepares to present his 2026 budget to the State House of Assembly. Stay tuned.